So you've been to a lot of temples, and I'm sure you must have had some extraordinary experiences in some of those temples. Would you be okay sharing some of those?
Yeah. I'll tell about the one I already mentioned in Kashi. It's Varanasi, for those who don't know. I call it, the old name is Kashi. And that name just makes sense to me because that light is there. Even though it's one of the craziest places in this country, I think. I had already done a little bit of work with this woman, and I was doing a sadhana general. Because your idea is to figure out, in Kali Kuli, you're worshiping Kali, period. If you're worshiping Chinnamasta Matangi, it's Kali. Your job, once you figure that out, is to figure out, okay, which specific branch of Kali is my Ishta Devi, And that's the point I was at. I'd already done this sadhana with her for almost a year, I think. And so I was getting these feelings of things. And so I was in Kashi with a friend from Tamil Nadu who was showing me around because he had been there several times. And we had went up, let me think about it. We were at the Ganga Arati at Dashwashwamedha Ghat, and you go up the stairs. Have you been to Kashi?
I haven't.
No, I'm going in 2 weeks, so you can come. But, and up the hill, we kind of went to the left, which I can't explain that to you when you're up the hill. Now the corridors are different. They've moved them around a little bit, but it's still there. And we ended up seeing this little tiny man, painted like Kali, a little old man with a beard longer than mine, painted like Kali, and with a trishul that was bigger and heavier probably than his body was. So we saw the little man, and I realized, when I realized he was Kali, I was trying to make him be Shiva in my logical mind, because I'm like, he's a man, he has to be, but he wasn't, he was Kali. And you could tell when you looked, the skulls, everything was there.
He dressed up like that.
Yeah, and he painted his body black, and painted the third eye, but he also had the Jamurti mark on his forehead, so that confused me, because at the time I wasn't so versed with all the little things that also can go with Kali. But what I noticed immediately was, to the left of him, there was a Kali Muruti. Maybe she's 2 feet tall, less than a meter, not very big. But I can read Devanagari script from studying Sanskrit, and it said Masan Kali, and I was like, okay, this is... And I decided we were heading somewhere, because we were going for a puja. Because at night after the Ghat, this certain temple we really liked did Mangala Arati at night, so we went there. So I made a mental note where this was. And we went on and did our business. And a few nights later, we were getting ready to leave the next day, and I went... we were at the Ganga Arati again, and it was 47 degrees Celsius, and in June, it was so hot, so we're just dripping, but kind of trying to make our best. Our moods were bad because it was so hot, So he said, I really want to go find the samadhi of this person that I've been looking for, and do you want to come? I said, I have no interest. I said, I think I finally go find this Kali again. Maybe I'll pay for a Archana, maybe I'll pay for some puja. I don't know. I'll make a donation of some kind anyway. So he went off, and I went up, and I couldn't find it. And I said, okay, people talk about these kind of experiences all the time in India. I know it should have been right there, and it wasn't there. I couldn't find it. So I just said, fuck it. I have to quit looking for it. And immediately that's when I found it, which, of course, is the way it works. But I turned and looked at her, and when I looked in her eyes, I was outside of my head.
In the eyes of the Murti?
Yes.
Mm.
I was gone. I don't remember anything. I don't know how long it was. I remember starting to think and saying, you have to turn around, because something has gotten, your mind is not working. So I slowly got myself turned around, and then I came back to my senses, and then I walked home.
Wow.
And halfway home, I was about 18 ghats from where I was staying. So it was a good walk. So about halfway there, I thought, wait a minute, I was going to do a puja or donation or something, and I really want, because there was a little man sitting next to her, and I saw him before I saw the eyes. When I looked in the eyes, it is when it happened. Do I go back and do this? And I thought, no, just go home. And then about an hour later, my friend came and we went to bed and got up and got on the train the next morning, took the train to Haridwar, and then took a rickshaw to Rishikesh. And from Rishikesh, we went into Uttarkashi, which is a long, arduous journey through the drop-off roads of this fast driving and all this stuff. So we were in Rishikesh about a week, and we decided to go up there and stay because Shrat had told me I should go up there because he thought I would like it up there because he had done that yatra a few years before that. So my friend discovered, he did a little research on his own Googling and found out there's a Kali temple there, but he found a video, and the video showed it in the middle of a Anandamaya Ma ashram. Mm-hmm. So we were looking for this. So in Uttarkashi, there is a Kashi Vishwanath temple, just like there is in regular Kashi, and it's really got a great energy. We could not find this. So this Anandamaya Ma ashram was a rounded off building, which all goddess-oriented places used to be round, because there's no edges, no corners, they want it to all be equal. Shakta tradition, and the building is red, which is also a Shakta tradition. We couldn't find it anywhere. So one night it was maybe 6 p.m. We had sat at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. They opened at 5. We had sat there for an hour, talked to the priest that's in the room with the lingam. And finally, let's go out this other gate. We never go out this gate, and we'll just follow our way. So we started walking, and we kept hearing the river, the Bhagirathi river that becomes part of the Ganga, goes through the town. So we kept following whatever turns we made sure that we were heading either to the left or back facing the river. And all of a sudden we came around one corner, because the roads in Uttarkashi aren't straight. They curve around like this. So we were coming around like this, and all of a sudden I remember touching this wall, and the wall was red. And we were walking, and I'm like, this wall is round. Mm-hmm. So I said, I think we found the building. So we followed it all the way around, and then in Devanagari script it said Shri Shri Anandamaya Ma Ashram and Kali Mandiram. So I said, here it is. It's like, it was evening. It was morning. It wasn't evening. So it was locked. The gate was locked. So we get there, look inside, and say, okay, now we know where it is. We'll put it in our mind. And we started walking away. And then this big, heavy, he's known for being abundant. There's a good interview with him on Joginder. He's also a Punjabi name, like my name. Was a devotee of hers. He had been there when she was there, and he cooked. He did all the things. He spoke no English, but he understood the English. But my friend spoke some Hindi, so that was so he said if we want to come inside, he'll open everything. So he opened the temple. They have a meditation hall with a marble statue of her sitting there. We meditated there for a little bit, and then we went in the temple. And when we walked in the temple, it was the same Murti that was there when she was there. And her husband had meditated in this spot and decided she needed to open an ashram there because her husband was her first shishya.
Oh. And
so when they did, he told her, you have to come up here. She came up, said, okay, build it here. When we sat down, I looked in the eyes of that thing. I was gone. And I had already been sitting down, so I just leaned against the wall, and I think I was sitting there for 45 minutes. And I got up and I did a parikrama around and went outside. And
How would you describe this, like, that you were gone? In the sense you didn't feel your body anymore?
I didn't feel my body, and my brain wasn't active.
It was completely silent.
I could not think of something, of anything. It was totally empty. I wouldn't call it bliss. Like some people would say samadhi. You're going into samadhi. Maybe that samadhi is emptiness. I don't know. But I don't want to say that I was in samadhi because it felt very blank to me. So I can't say it's ananda or samadhi. Those words don't resonate. That emptiness is what being gone is all I was not there. Mm. Like my active personality and the ideas I have of myself in the front of my brain were not there. Mm. And then when they start to creep out, that's when I always leave. So I went around and I left. And it was another 20 minutes maybe before my friend came out. And he came out and said, you told me about your experience in Kashi. I said, yeah. He said, did it happen here? I said, yes. And he said, I think it happened to me. And I said, this place is very special. So Those are two stories. I've had other things happen.